friends, it's Jennifer with the Lamb Library, and I'm glad you could join me for story time today. And today I have a very special friend, my little moose friend, Bullwinkle, because today we are going to have some fun stories about moose. Right now, let's start with our hello song. So are you ready? So Moose, can you wave to our friends at home? All right, ready? We wave and sing hello. We wave and sing hello. With our friends at story time, we wave and sing hello. Now, can you stomp and sing hello? We stomp and sing hello. We stomp and sing hello. With our friends at story time, we stomp and sing hello. All right, now can we clap and sing hello? All right, and you'll have to clap for me because I'm helping Mr. Moose clap. Are you ready? We clap and sing hello. We clap and sing hello. With our friends at story time, we clap and sing hello. All right. Now, we do have some moose in Colorado, not as many as in some of the more northern and northwestern states, and probably not as many down around Pueblo, but in other parts of Colorado. So sometime if you are hiking or driving through the mountains, you might get to see one in the wild. All right, are we ready for our first story? What do you think, Bullwinkle? Are you ready? All right, let's sing our story song that helps us get ready. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands, clap, clap. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands, clap, clap. If you're ready for a story, a moose story. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. Now, if you're ready for a story, nod your head. If you're ready for a story, nod your head. If you're ready for a story, a moose story. If you're ready for a story, nod your head. If you're ready for a story, say shh. If you're ready for a story, say shh. If you're ready for a story, a moose story. If you're ready for a story, say shh. All right, now our first story is about a different moose. So I'm going to put my friend over here so he can hear the story. And this is called Ernest, the Moose Who Doesn't Fit. And it was written and illustrated by Catherine Rayner. And we have to thank Farrar, Straus & Giroux, a division of Macmillan Press, for giving us permission to share this with you today. So let's see how big Ernest is. Because moose are very big. They are related to deer and elk, but they are much bigger. So Ernest, the moose who doesn't fit. Looky there. Ernest is a rather large moose. Can you see how big he is? He is so large that he doesn't really fit inside this book. See, we can't see all of him, can we? We can see his legs and we see his head because he's bending down, but we can't see the rest of him. But luckily, Ernest is also a very determined moose. He's not going to give up so easily. So he's going to try to fit in our book. Can he do it? Let's see. He struggles to shimmy and shift and shuffle in forward. So now we see his head and his shoulders and part of his front leg, but we don't see the rest of him, do we? He tries to squidge and squadge and squeeze in backwards. So now we see his back end and his tail and part of his back legs, but now we can't see his face. Oh dear, do you think Ernest will ever fit in our book so we can see all of him at the same time? Ernest's middle fits in easily. But what about the rest of him? So we see most of him here. but we can't see his nice big antlers. We can't see his feet. Let's see, what will Ernest try now? Ernest is very disappointed. He really wants to fit in our book. This book is just too small for him. Look, he has a little friend, a little chipmunk hanging on his antlers. Or is it Ernest's little friend has a big idea? What do you think his idea is? Do you have any guesses? I don't know. We'll have to see. He whispers in Ernest's ear. She fetches some masking tape. How is tape going to help him fit in this book? I don't know. And Ernest collects some paper. Look at all the different kinds of paper he has stuck in his antlers. Tape and paper. How will that help him fit in the book? Together, they carefully crinkle, crumple, and stick. They are busy for a very long time. I can't imagine what they are doing. Finally, they are finished. Ernest may be a rather large moose, but now he has a rather large book. Look, they used the tape to add more paper to make our book bigger. And now he fits in perfectly. So now we can see all of him at once. We see his big hoofs. We see his long legs. We see his big body, his tail, his face, and his big antlers. They are much bigger than the antlers on a deer or an elk, aren't they? So now Ernest fits perfectly. Yay! All right, and that is the end of Ernest's story. Let's say goodbye, Ernest, now that he fits perfectly in our book. Okay, now we are going to work on a counting rhyme, and we're going to count some moose. Okay, and today, instead of my flannel board, I brought my whiteboard, and I have some moose with me. We're going to count up from 1 to 5. So we are going to have moose, sleepy moose on a hill. Are you ready? So 5 sleepy moose on a great big hill. The first one said, I like lying still. The second one said, I'm about to yawn. And the third one said, please don't wake me until dawn. The fourth one said, my eyes are starting to close. And the fifth one said, it's time to doze. So they pulled up their covers and they all said good night. And the 5 sleepy moose were out like a light. They all went to sleep. All right. Let's do that once more. We'll go through a little faster. Now we have all our moose on the hill. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sleepy moose on a great big hill. The first one said, I like lying still. The second one said, I'm about to yawn. The third one said, don't wake me until dawn. The fourth one said, my eyes are starting to close. And the fifth one said, it's time to doze. So they pulled up their covers and Sal said good night. And the 5 sleepy moose were out like a light. That's our 5 little moose. Say goodbye, 5 little moose. Now, Are you ready for another moose story? This one is a little bit of an adventure. So this one is called Up the Creek by Nicholas Oldland. And he is the author and the illustrator, so he wrote the story and made the pictures. And we have Kids Can Press to thank for giving us permission to share this with you today. So up the creek. So can you see they're in a canoe? So in this story, we're going to learn some terms about boats. We'll see. So up the creek, and there's the creek. And there was once 3 animal friends, a beaver, a bear, and a moose, who were the best of friends, though they often disagreed. And that happens sometimes with friends. Sometimes you want to do different things, or you like different things, have different opinions, and that is okay. But sometimes you have to compromise in order to play together. One sunny day, the bear, the moose, and the beaver decided to go canoeing. That sounds fun. Have you ever been canoeing? The moose wanted to steer, but so did the bear and the beaver. So they all sat in the stern. And the stern is the back of the boat. Do you know what the front of the boat is called? Are there any Navy brats out there? All right, the front of the boat is called the bow. With so much weight in the back end of the canoe, it flipped and they all ended up in the water. You can't have everyone in the same place. You have to balance the weight, don't you? So they played eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and it was decided that the moose would steer. So they all settled back in the canoe and began to paddle. The bear insisted on paddling port side, but the beaver and moose also preferred the left. So the port is the left side of the boat. Do you know what the right side of the boat is called? It's called the starboard side. But with everyone paddling on the same side, they traveled in circles. You can't go anywhere if everyone's paddling on the same side. Soon their arms grew tired, so they began to switch sides. That's when they finally started to travel in a straight line. But just as they were about making progress, they came to a stop at a beaver dam. And they all had different ideas on how to get across. The beaver wanted to push the canoe, but that didn't work. It was too heavy and too hard to push across the sticks. The moose thought they should pull the canoe, but that didn't work either. Fortunately, the bear figured it out. The only way across was portage, and that means to carry the canoe over until they could get it back in the water. Back in the water, the bear, the moose, and the beaver settled into a rhythm and started to really enjoy paddling along the river. But it wasn't long before they began to argue. As happens with friends sometimes, they argued so loudly. Stop splashing, keep paddling, I'm hungry. They didn't notice the current growing stronger and faster, or the quiet rumbling in the distance. What does that mean? When the current gets faster and you hear rumbling, it means waterfalls and rapids. Until it was too late, the river had turned into a wild white water rapid. They weren't ready for that. Thrown sideways, underwater, through the air, and everywhere, the bear, the moose, and the beaver held on for their lives. It can be dangerous going through the rapids. Exhausted, bruised, and wet, the 3 friends landed on a rock in the middle of the rapids, and they were stuck. What are they going to do? Let's see. And as usual, they all had different ideas on how to solve this problem. The moose wanted to burn the canoe to make a signal fire. Do you think that's a good idea? I don't think so. They might need their canoe again. The bear wanted to throw the beaver to shore to go look for help. The beaver figured swimming to shore was a better idea. I think he's right about that. And they argued over whose plan was best well into the night. So they wasted all this time arguing instead of solving the problem. The next morning, it dawned on the bear, the moose, and the beaver that they would have to work together to make it home safely. So they climbed back into the battered canoe, took a deep breath, and ran the rapids. So there they go, down the river and through the rapids. They twisted, leaped, crashed, and blasted through the water. The rapids were fierce, but with the bear's powerful strokes and the moose's steady hoof and the beaver's clever commands, they set a true, clear course. So when they work together, things go a lot better, don't they? At last, the bear, the moose, and the beaver made it to shore. They are all worn out, and oops, the canoe broke. And so did their oar. After a much-needed nap, the bear, the moose, and the beaver worked together to repair their canoe and their paddle. They caught some fish and cooked some lunch. Before they tucked into the meal, they all gave thanks for the wildest adventure they had ever had. Rested and relaxed, the bear, the moose, and the beaver were ready to set out for home. After taking a long look at the raging rapids, they decided to walk. And who could disagree with that? So it is normal for friends or family to disagree and have arguments sometimes, but when we all work together, things go a lot better, and that's the only way you can solve the problem is by working together. Okay, I have one last counting rhyme for you, and this time we are going to count down. In our first one, we counted from 1 to 5. Now we're going to go from 5 to 1. And now you might be familiar with another book that we didn't have time to share today called If You Give a Moose a Muffin. So this rhyme is about moose and muffins. So we need 5 muffins, so help me count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put that one upside down. And 5. Oh, don't those look yummy? I made myself very hungry when I was getting these ready. Now, you see they're all different. We have a blueberry muffin, a chocolate muffin, lemon poppy seed, chocolate chip, and a pumpkin muffin. What's your favorite kind of muffin? Can you tell me in the comments? Let's see. I have a hard time deciding because I like lots of them. I would say probably pumpkin is one of my favorites. And of course, you can never go wrong with chocolate, but that's almost more of a dessert. Now, so as we know from the other story, that some moose like a muffin. So here is our friend Bullwinkle, and he's going to help us do this rhyme. Are you ready, Bullwinkle? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. 5 big muffins on the windowsill. The moose came along and ate his fill. Now, how many muffins on the windowsill? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 big muffins on the windowsill. Along came a moose and ate his fill. I have to give him a little help. Now, how many muffins are on the windowsill? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 big muffins on the windowsill. Along came a moose and ate his fill. Oh, you have to give him some more. So now how many muffins on the windowsill? 2. 2 big muffins on the windowsill. Along came a moose and ate his fill. Now how many muffins on the windowsill? 1 left. 1 big muffin on the windowsill. Along came a moose and ate his fill. Now there are no more muffins on the windowsill. All right. Now I'm going to show you something you can do at home. If you happen to have picked up one of our early literacy kits, there are materials and instructions for this cute little moose craft, using tracing around your child's foot to make the face and tracing around hands to make the antlers. Now, of course, yours won't be this big because I use my own foot and hand, so they're much bigger than yours will be. And another thing you can do is you can make a headband and put the handprint antlers on the headband and pretend to be a moose yourself. So again, this is in our early literacy kits, and we do have a few of those left for this month. So if you haven't gotten one, stop by the Lamb Library and pick one up. All right, now that is the end of our story time for today. I'm so glad you could join me. All right, Bullwinkle, can you join me in our goodbye song? All right, so story time is over, wave goodbye. Story time is over, wave goodbye. Story time is done, and we hope that you had fun. Story time is over, wave goodbye. All right, and I hope to see you next week. Back on our Facebook page, Wednesdays at 10:30 for virtual story time. And as of this week, our libraries are back open for limited browsing, computer use, and copier use. So you're limited to an hour, and we do ask everyone 3 and over to please wear a mask over your mouth and your nose when you come to the library. But we hope to see you soon, and take care, and we'll see you back here next week, and we will be talking about the Yeti. All right, so see you soon.